Ladies and gents, welcome back. This is a video I didn't want to make, but so many of you tune into this channel to find out what's going on in Canada, and I felt an obligation to put this story out there. Now, comedy is an interesting art, I guess you could say, and a lot of comedians, especially in the shock or dark kind of comedy, will often walk the line between appropriate and inappropriate things to say, sometimes crossing that line, stepping over it, and, well, once you've stepped over that line, it's very difficult to walk that back. Now, we have a story here. True North is reporting on this. Poilievre asks RCMP to investigate rape threats against his wife. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has asked the RCMP to investigate whether criminal charges can be pressed against Diagolon podcaster Jeremy MacKenzie for threatening to sexually assault his wife, Anaida Poilievre. Over the weekend, a podcast clip surfaced in which MacKenzie and guest Alex Virend made derogatory and threatening comments towards her. Now, I'm not going to read what he said. I'm just going to play it. I have the clip here for everyone to hear.
What, and then what's his wife doing? Isn't she from Cuba or something?
She's from Venezuela.
Venezuela, right? You know,
and she is hot as fuck. Oh my goodness.
That's how else would she have got out?
Like a midnight snack when everybody's asleep, and I'm gonna sneak into this fridge and cut me off a piece of that Venezuelan brown cake. Oh
6
my
hours.
goodness.
6 hours with the old lady and look at you.
Good. Good for you, PP.
Would you be saying that if Morton was there? Would you be saying that if Morton was there?
No, she'd be like, she is hot. We should both her. And I'd be like, we should. Let's her. Like, we have these conversations. We target people we may power in the future. Oh, dude. No. We'll just be like, it's not really a sex thing. It's like, we just want to show people that we can do things to you if we want to. It's a power move.
So clearly this is a recorded segment from what looks like could have been some sort of Discord or something chat that was going on late in one evening. Now this gets out, and immediately Pierre Poilievre makes a statement on social media. Statement from the Honorable Pierre Poilievre. This weekend, I became aware of a disgusting comments made by Jeremy MacKenzie and another man where they discussed sexually assaulting my wife. These men are dirtbags, frankly, like most Canadians. Until about a month ago, I'd never heard of Diagolon and these losers. They are all odious. My office has referred these comments to the RCMP to assess whether criminal charges should be laid. This kind of garbage has no place in Canada. No one should face this abuse. People can attack my politics. They can call me names. They can protest my ideas and what I stand for, but threatening my wife and my family is appalling, and I will not tolerate it. Leave my family alone. And yes, I believe these comments crossed that line. And, well, the news article goes on. According to CBC News, the RCMP have yet to respond to whether there is an ongoing investigation into the matter. Prior to becoming leader earlier this month, legacy media outlets attempted to smear Poilievre as being associated to Diagolon after MacKenzie appeared in a photograph with Poilievre at a campaign event. That was reported on this channel as well, where Jeremy went to an event, took a photograph, and the news media went wild over the story, trying to connect the two. There was no real connection there. Frankly, like most Canadians, until about a month ago, I'd never heard of Diagolon and these losers. They're all odious. Poilievre wrote, this kind of garbage has no place in Canada. On Monday, the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, addressed the incident without mentioning Poilievre himself. No one should ever be subject to threats of violence or any kind of hatred that we've seen increasingly in public discourse in the public sphere, said Trudeau. Now we have a few other statements here. Veterans for Freedom put out a statement saying, "We are saddened to learn today of extremely inappropriate comments made over the weekend by a member of the veteran community. We do not condone these comments, and we strongly advocate for individuals to take personal responsibility for their actions. Jeremy MacKenzie has been a supporter of Veterans for Freedom and has advocated for us in the past. However, he is not a member of V4F. We understand the frustration this has caused. However, we are not in a position to apologize on behalf of anyone outside our organization or the actions of any member of the veteran community as a whole. We would also like to remind the community at large that individual members do not speak on behalf of Veterans for Freedom. As detailed in our public relations agreement, all official external communications are made exclusively by Veterans for Freedom Steering Committee. James Topp also making a point to put a public statement out there. This is September 26, 2022. Today, we were made aware of comments made by Jeremy MacKenzie on his podcast. And everything we have done, we have strived to use professional courtesy, language, and behavior in our communications and interactions with the public. We acknowledge that we are responsible for our words and actions, and use the utmost discretion and mindfulness in our conduct. It is now necessary to state the following. We at Canada Marches think that the statements made by Jeremy MacKenzie are unprofessional, inappropriate, and offensive. We do not condone this type of language, nor will we ever. We do not and will not encourage violence against any person in any way. We must also state that we are unable to control the words and behaviors of others that we may have met in our journey. Their words and actions are not a reflection of our ethos here at Canada Marches. We will continue to speak truth to those that need to hear it in a manner that is respectful of the dignity of others. Respectfully, James Topp, Warrant Officer, Canada Armed Forces. So this is a really tough one to get through because a lot of people are fans of Jeremy. I liked a lot of his comedy. I thought the Diagolon thing was a big funny meme, and the Parliament going nuts over a joke about a fictional country is really funny. It really is. Of course, Jeremy on his Substack wrote an article here. Now, I can't go through the whole article because there is some explicit material in the article. I'm going to put out a tweet, and then I'm going to link to the article in that tweet so people can go and read it for themselves in its entirety. He gets into a lot of things in his justification for what he said. I don't feel that this was an apology for what he had said, more of a justification. And I'm not taking any personal stake in this one here. These are just the things that he said. And I'm just going to give a few blurbs from this article. Again, it is a long one, and he gets into a lot of things. As most people close to me or have been following for any length of time are aware, I regularly engage in crude and aggressive satire, dark comedy, or at times shocking language and hyperbole. It's intentional because this is how I express myself. I don't write songs about taking one's life like Kurt Cobain. I don't paint pictures of gruesome graphic violence like Genelish. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. And I don't compete in ultra marathons to near death like David Goggins. I talk. This is how I get out what I need to get out. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. No one is forcing you to listen to Nirvana, study brutal Italian artwork or of child, or do a race in Death Valley for days until your kidneys shut down. Now he gives the quote from Pierre Poilievre here, his statement that he put out. What's being referenced here is an out-of-context drunk exchange between myself and several others. It was not intended to be taken seriously and certainly not as any kind of grave threat. He is clearly offended. That was not my intention while speaking intoxicated to an audience of 50 people at 2 o'clock in the morning. No one threatened anyone. No one thinks that is funny. I certainly don't think soldiers taking their own lives are funny. It's deeply personal, but a joke is a joke. Absent from this 47-second clip is a further 10 minutes or so discussion on how I believed his wife to be very intelligent and successful, an asset to his life and key foundational contributor to his success. Strange that was left out. Of course it was left out. That's just the way these clips go. That's just how it is. Again, I'll leave a link to the entire article in a tweet. You can go check it out for yourself. Please go read it in its entirety, but it does have graphic content. I just want to make sure people are aware of that before going over there and checking it out. Down further in the article, he says, I'm genuinely regretful and disappointed of my idiotic late night attempts at entertaining unrelated people have upset or offended you. This is where I kind of feel like the non-apology, like I'm sorry your feelings were hurt. I'm sorry that you felt bad about the situation. Not actually sorry. Genuinely regretful and disappointed if my idiotic late night attempts at entertaining unrelated people have upset or offended you. I mean that. I understand what it's like to face an endless barrage of senseless hatred, as you will see below. This is not even remotely close to the same thing. I'm also routinely harassed, attacked, stalked, and threatened by people online, though very few have the courage to show their faces, as many journalists and politicians and public figures. Some of my weekend reading material, and he gets into a lot of the threats and things that are thrown his way. It comes with the territory, but it's expected of me that I shrug it off when it comes to the future prospective Prime Minister of Canada. However, lewd comments and offensive remarks simply cannot stand. Call the police. Spare me, he says. The next time you want to feel outraged about something, all I can humbly ask is that you please choose something of substance that actually matters. People die every day, innocent people for no reason. We should expect our leaders at a national level to be above these high school level shenanigans. Again, you can go read the rest of the article yourself. But here we are. We're in I've been put in a situation where I feel like I should tell this story. Again, this isn't a video I wanted to make. This isn't something that I think is fun to put out there. It really sucks when you see someone make a mistake and do something horrible. And well, this is what's happened here. I can't stand behind what was said there. Personally, if anyone said that about my wife, friend or not, the friendship wouldn't last. And especially if somebody said something like that and didn't even try walking it back, just said you shouldn't be offended, I was joking. I couldn't live with that. I just personally couldn't live with that. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of the situation. This is a tough one. This is a real tough one because, yeah, a lot of people like Jeremy, but this is just inexcusable in my opinion. I can't get behind it. Let me know in the comments. We'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.